Hi, today we're going to be talking all about a culture of ill-cliteracy. My name is Fran. I'm a sex counselor. I support men in getting more of what they want in the bedroom. We're going to be reading all about it from the book. So tell me about the last time you had sex. Let's dive right in. For generations, it was widely believed that a woman who couldn't orgasm as a result of intercourse had psychological inhibitions or was sexually frigid. Much of this misunderstanding goes back to the legacy of Sigmund Freud, who could not reconcile himself to the powerful role of the clitoris in female sexual pleasure. Freud perpetuated the myth that the clitoris was an immature source of sexual pleasure, a mere launching pad for the more mature vaginal orgasm, which should be produced via genital intercourse. With the change to femininity, the clitoris should wholly or in part hand over its sensitivity and at the same time its importance to the vagina, wrote Freud in the new introductory lectures on psychoanalysis. He offered little to no description of how this process was supposed to happen or its underlying mechanisms. But in Freud's view, if an adult woman couldn't be satisfied by penetrative sex, she was thought to be stuck in an infantile phallic stage of her psychosexual development that was clitorally focused and a function of her desire to have a penis, aka penis envy. According to Freud, only if a woman shifts her sense of the erotic to the generative inner space of the vagina and demotes the clitoris to a secondary function, she will be able to abnegate her masculine aspirations for the feminine, wrote Freud. When at last the sexual act is permitted for the first time and the clitoris itself becomes excited, it still retains a function, the task namely of transmitting the excitation to the adjacent female sexual parts, just as, to use a simile, pine shavings can be kindled in order to set a log of harder wood on fire. For someone who is known to have said that sometimes a cigar is just a cigar, perhaps the father of psychoanalysis should have realized that the clitoris is just a clitoris. I always get so excited for the ending. An organ devoted solely to pleasure, and, in the words of William Masters, confers upon the female an infinitely greater capacity for sexual response than a man ever dreamed of. Psychoanalysis was often recommended for a woman to help her overcome neuroses that were preventing her from transferring clitoral pleasure into full vaginal pleasure. But sexual gratification in women never required a penis or penis-shaped sex toy, wrote researcher James Foss et al. Although having one that is responsive and attached to someone who is interested in exploring and cultivating her sexual landscape can embellish her experience and augment the array of sensory stimulation that she can associate with orgasm. And I just love that last bit. So I would love to hear from you, understand what myths you may have heard around female sexual pleasure. And if I don't hear from you, I'm wishing you the absolute best day of your life. Bye.